Hey everyone, this is Dr. Dale here. Just following up with my last video. I did my own ice bucket challenge, but really it was a research bucket challenge. I've spent hours upon hours reading a lot of the research out there that has already been done regarding ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. So what I want to do though is I'm going to do a series of videos here. I don't know how long it'll take to do this. I don't know, how many I'll do, but I want to start critically thinking and logically going through the research that has already been done. So one of the places I went first was the ALS Association, since they're the ones collecting all the money from everybody doing this ice bucket challenge. And I want to point out something that they had on their website. I went on and I looked to research and funded grants, the grants that the ALS Association has funded. I found, now there may be other funded studies, I don't know, but on their page that I clicked on, I found no research, all except for one study evaluating a drug to treat a genetic mutation, basically. That was the only study I found that was even remotely looking for a cure. Everything else was basically, how do you manage? What was the quality of life of an ALS patient? What's the quality of life of a, you know what, I'm going to go through that page with you guys later on. But here's what I found. They said this was a groundbreaking discovery. Quote, groundbreaking discovery. New genetic mutation identified. The most common cause of FTD and ALS, accounting for as much as 1/3 of all ALS or all familial ALS. Now, you would think if somebody said something was groundbreaking, it would affect and benefit more than 1.1% of the ALS population or the disease population. Because in their study, they said these changes, these genetic mutations, were found in almost 23% of familial ALS samples studied at the Mayo Clinic. So 23% of 5%. And the reason I'm saying 5% is because they've only found, and this study here comes from the Journal of Neurosciences. The title is Brain Spinal Cord Trauma as Risk Factor in ALS. Now we're going to talk about brain and spinal cord trauma here in a second, because if you want to look for the strongest associated risk factor for the development of ALS, it's head and neck trauma or head and spinal cord trauma, such as football players or military veterans that have been blown up. That kind of stuff is where there's a real risk. So instead of looking at genes, here's my thought. Here's my thought. We've put millions and millions of dollars over the years into looking for genetic causes of ALS. But how many people actually are suffering from ALS because of their genes? You know what? When somebody says it's in your genes, it's nothing more than an excuse that they're saying, we have no clue what we're doing. We can't figure it out. And what they're also doing, a drug company would love for you to believe it's written in your DNA. Because if it's written in your DNA, there's nothing you can do. There's only look outside yourself, look to a big corporation to give you a pill, potion, or lotion, in my opinion, that somehow is going to change your genetic makeup. That's it. Because here's the thing. In this study here, they say, in quote, well, approximately 5% of cases are genetically linked, familial ALS. The majority of cases, 95%, are sporadic ALS, with the biggest risk factor out there right now being head and neck trauma. So again, we put millions and millions of dollars into something that can only benefit 1.15% of the ALS population. To me, we ought to go for the big fish first. We ought to go for the head and neck trauma patients. Those individuals suffering from ALS with a past history of head and neck trauma or head and spinal cord trauma. Okay? So if that study right there is groundbreaking, I'll tell you what is earth-shattering or should be within this search for a cure. Because that's what we want. This is what these people want. The person suffering or the family member with a a loved one suffering with ALS, they don't want studies going out measuring their quality of life, measuring or figuring out how to put a ventilator on the ALS patient. They want a cure. They want hope for a life in the future. That's what they want. Why isn't the money going towards that? I don't understand. But here's the earth-shattering. If that is groundbreaking, this has got to be earth-shattering. And this probably cost pennies on their dollars to actually do this research study. Because this was an individual chiropractor doing a research study, taking 44, and here's the thing, taking 44 of MS patients, taking 44 MS patients she had treated in the past, taking 37 Parkinson's disease patients that she had treated in the past, and putting her findings and the results of treating those people with specific upper cervical corrective chiropractic care. Not your general pain-based care, but very specific adjustments to the upper cervical spine. So when she did this research study, it was retrospective, basically observing what had happened to these 44 MS patients and 37 Parkinson's disease patients. And now quick, you're probably asking, what does Parkinson's disease and MS have to do with ALS? Here's what it has to do with it. MS and Parkinson's disease are both neurodegenerative diseases. So is ALS. So if we're going to look for a cure, we're going to look to see what could give somebody with ALS hope in their future, we better start with a profession or a treatment that has already been shown to help people with other neurodegenerative diseases that are close in association or closely or similar in relation to ALS, okay? So in this, here's the study results. Of 44 MS patients, 40 showed significant improvement. 25 had complete reversals of their MS. And MS is connected, the development of MS has been connected to head and neck trauma, spinal cord trauma. So is Parkinson's disease. So all three of these neurodegenerative diseases have a risk factor of head and neck trauma or head and spinal cord trauma. So their Parkinson's disease patients, of 37, 15 complete reversals of the condition, and 34 of 37 improvements. That is earth-shattering right now. Now what I want to know is why this individual chiropractor put this research study out there, but she found no support from the MS Association, no support from the Parkinson's disease patient or association. You know, they should be saying, you know what, we're going to go find this chiropractor, we're going to figure out what she's been doing. If she's claiming to help that many people in even a small study, out of 40 improvements, 37 Parkinson's disease patients, 34 improvements with multiple reversals of the condition, that's where we need to start investigating for all three of these. Because who knows, if we could fix their spine and their spine is deteriorating, their neck is deteriorating, causing the neurodegeneration that is causing those three conditions, we could actually have a shotgun effect. What that means is we could actually blanket all three conditions and find an answer for many of the people suffering with all three of those conditions, or people suffering with one of the three, okay? So, just wrapping it all up here, you know, I am hoping that the $88.5 million that the association, the ALS Association has raised due to the Ice Bucket Challenge, I am hoping at least a portion of that goes to the chiropractic profession. And we further investigate correction of the spine, preventing deterioration because of misalignments, and see how much benefit we can have. Because that would be one of the smartest things, in my opinion, to do, is to look to a profession that has already been shown to help people with neurodegenerative diseases. So I hope this video spreads like wildfire. So I want you to share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you can possibly do it. You know, sit your grandmother down and have her watch it, since she probably doesn't know how to work the computer, or email it to every single one of your family members. I hope this is bringing awareness to finding a cure, a true cure for ALS.